Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder.
What's up, guys? Ryan here, Torsion Talk Podcast, and I've got a guest on me. Don't have a guest on me today. That would be completely absurd. But I have a guest with me today. Goodness gracious. You know, when I start the podcast off that way, it's going to be a fun day. I've got a couple announcements I want to share with you. We have Garage Door U training. You do not have to be a member of this. July 27th, there's going to be new door. July 25th. No, I'm sorry, June 27th, new door sales training. We go over everything from presentation, follow up, the sales process, the customer's perspective. We talk about pipeline management, all of that, overcoming objections. So it's a 1-day training. We reduced it from like a 2-day to a 1-day, reduced the rate as well, trying to make it more affordable for everybody, and also reduce the time that you don't have guys in the field. So I thought this would be a great way to do that. 1-day sales training for new doors, June 27th. By the time you get this, it'll be really close to that. If you still want to register your local, whatever, you can get here. Go ahead and do that. We have July 25th, 1-day tech sales training. This is going to be essentially, if you got guys in the field doing repairs and they're averaging $300, $400, even $500 a ticket, send them here for 1-day training, and I will get them up to $800 to $1,000 very easily. This is not a challenging thing. It's just a mindset and a system that we help put in place. So your customers will love you. They will give you 5-star reviews. They'll appreciate the work. And this is not a scenario where when we do this, you're going to get customers that are mad at you for overcharging. None of that. This is you identifying that there's more than one type of shopper and offering options and allowing customers to choose. And there's a whole system that goes along with that. And I'm gonna share that at this tech sales training. And then the last one's so that's August 15th, and then the last one is new door, and that's August 29th. July 2nd, I'm actually going to Knoxville to do an in-person sales training. I'm coaching football this year. I'm defensive coordinator for my son's 10-year-old football team, which is great. But I won't be able to do a lot of traveling. So, but I do travel to dealers and work with their team, either through leadership, sales, systems, training, technology, marketing, whatever. So I don't know a lot of people even know that, but I do travel and do training and assist. So that's that. But the reason why I brought up football is because I'm looking out past football season for those of you guys who I'm either talking to or are interested in that. So keep that in mind. Garage Door U, I think I mentioned this before, but I got back from Puerto Rico. Absolutely gorgeous. My wife and I had a most beautiful time. We've had 19, 20 dealers sign up pre-registration that went to the event last year. And out of those people, all but one did a +1 to bring their spouse. I can only imagine why. Beautiful resort on an exotic island called Puerto Rico. You don't need a passport. And we are pricing these tickets out extremely affordable and financing them over 4 to 6 months. Depends on when we open up registration to the public. So this is the last week for my GDU members to sign up at a stupid discount. And then we're going to raise the price and then open it up for you guys, which is going to be our early bird special. So that will be the lowest rate for the public that you can get. So if you're interested, make sure you hit that up pretty quickly because we're not going to let it run long. And then we're going to go to our regular rate. So hope everybody's doing well. It's hot out there in Atlanta. Atlanta Braves are starting to kick in. Football season's starting. Got everybody, all these camps going. I'm excited. The Braves are winning. We might be able to make it to the playoffs with this type of vibe. I took Roman from Somer and Shannon from Armorlight to the Braves game yesterday, where we beat the Detroit Tigers like a lot to a little. I think it was 7-0. I exchanged my season ticket for 4 tickets in the Infinity Club, where you get cushioned seats and some free snacks, and they have this whole indoor area right behind home plate, second level. It was absolutely beautiful, great day. If you're friends with me on Facebook, check out my Facebook post I did with them at the stadium. But 2 amazing people in our industry. If you don't know them, make sure you hit them up. So that's all the announcements I got. Thank you for hanging in there for that. I try to talk fast to get through that because I think it's important. But today I'm going to shift gears and we're going to talk about a garage door manufacturer. Well, I call them a manufacturer that you may not know of, but your wife probably does. And the reason why I say that is because I was building a house last year, and obviously, I get to put whatever I want on my house until my wife goes on Instagram and finds this company and starts telling me that she wants these doors. And I'm like, babe, no. Like I want a glass garage door. This is what I want. I want a full view glass garage door. I want an armor light. This is what we sell. I sell hundreds and hundreds of these every year. Like this is what we're known for. I can't put something on my house when I'm known for glass garage doors. And she's like, well, I really like these. And I'm like, babe, we can't do that. And so we butted heads and butted heads. And so but every door she would find online, she'd send to me and she'd be like, what about this one? I'd be like, that's the same company, babe. She's like, oh, they build great doors. So I already knew about them prior, but my wife, they do such a good job with video and photography and building beautiful doors. And I think that has helped the entire industry, because once you get those photos out, people start to see what's available and it opens their mind. And then we get leads for people who want doors outside of white short panel raised, which is a wonderful thing because those are ugly and they need to be eliminated from options altogether for all garage doors, in my opinion. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Cory with, I call him Vidor, but I know that's not how you pronounce it. So Cory, can you pronounce how you say your company name?
That that's exactly how I say it, Ryan.
Is
Vidor.
it?
That's everybody
Okay.
pronounces it wrong, but no, you're right.
Okay, good.
You're
I
right.
thought somebody corrected me and told me it was like Vidor, Vidor, I think.
Well, we all have our own little accent. My own hick accent. I probably say it different than you, but
Very- All right,
Vidor. Yep.
I dig it. All right. So tell me about Vidor. When did you guys get started and what do you specialize in?
Well, just kind of building on what you said, it's kind of funny you said that because we used to always joke that we were the door company for the Pinterest lady. We'd have that lady who'd been on Pinterest and found that picture of the door that she couldn't find from any other door company or bigger manufacturer. And they would end up sending them to us and we'd build this one-off door from them for them. And so that was kind of always our little in-house joke. But no, I kind of took a non-traditional route into doors. I was never an installer or never didn't have a background in the industry. And it was funny. My roommate in college was a door installer all through college, and he kind of recruited some of our other roommates to install. And I never wanted anything to do with it. And after we had graduated and moved on with life, and I was doing my thing
Y'all go to
because of
college?
that. What's that?
Where'd y'all go to college?
Utah State,
Okay.
yeah,
Continue.
northern Utah. So after that, I kind of moved back to where I was from and that, and he took a job with a cell center in a bigger manufacturer because of his experience from installing. And it was funny, the previous manager, there was a lot of obsolete inventory, and the manufacturer had kind of discontinued a few lines, and so they had told him just to scrap all this stuff. And he's like, I don't have the heart to to do it. I'm going to set it out back. If you want it, come and take it. And you're kind of a wheeler dealer and cheap and might make you a few extra bucks, and you can buy some springs and track and things from me, and I'll make a little money off it too. So I started doing that and realized that garage doors, pretty easy thing to sell. And so from there, I kept pedaling a little here and there. And then he came to me and he's like, well, within our company, we're closing down another place in another state, and they've got some excess inventory and junk if you want it. And it's like, wow, this is, for me at the time, I can't remember what it was, but it's $4,000 or $5,000, and had some panels and a lot of odds and ends inventory. And so I bought it. And at the time I had this old barn that didn't even have, had dirt floors and sheep in there from the previous owner. It stunk, and had a field. And so all my doors and stuff were out under tarps in a field. And and then I ended up getting all this stuff, and I realized I don't even know how to put a hardware. I thought I'd get hardware boxes and all this kind of stuff. And so I got all these parts, and I had to teach myself, and with help of others, how to build a hardware box, how to engineer a door, how springs worked. And so hindsight, that was a huge, great experience, because it taught me how doors go together and how they work, even though I didn't have an install background.
Your story is very similar to mine.
Is it?
Yeah. So I came from software, and I flew out to California to train with my buddy Larry for 7 days. Well, actually, it was 4.5 days. I flew out, I think, on a Sunday night, and I left on a Friday. And I was with him Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, half a day Friday, and then came back. And that was the extent of my training before launching my company and selling my first door. That was a 9x7. And it took me, I think I remember it was either 9 or 11 hours to do the door and motor. And the problem was that he didn't train me how to install. He trained me how to do repairs and motors. So that's where my focus was. But I sold a door to a friend of mine who wanted to give a door and motor to her dad. And I don't know that it was a gift, right? But she was also trying to help me out, so I didn't feel horribly bad. But I got there and realized I didn't have all the tools, so I ended up having to make like 3 trips to Home Depot while I was there. And I put the center bearing plate upside down. I think the end bearing plates were kind of wrongly sat. I was hitting the drum when I was coming up. I mean, it was bad, but there were hardly any instructions. And funny enough, like I was speaking at an event in New England, and I was telling this story because we were doing Q&A, and I said the only 2 people that hadn't installed a garage door to that point in the door industry was myself and the guy who wrote the instructions for the AMAR hardware box. And then another guy raises his hand. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I wrote the instructions for the AMAR hardware box. And I'm like, shut up. And he was like, no, for real. And so everybody had a nice laugh on my behalf during that time. So yeah, funny world.
I could join you in that crowd. We could make a threesome there, because the people would call me back and ask, how do I do this? And I'm like, let me call you back.
Yeah, that's funny. All right. So is this where you started installing garage doors?
No, I never did get into installing them. I pretty much at that point kind of worked with met some local installers that weren't as good at selling doors, and I just subbed it out to them. So at that time, back in those days, I had some experience building websites and pay-per-click and that kind of stuff. So I built myself a website. And back in those days with garage door companies, is like few had a website, and even fewer knew anything about pay-per-click or that kind of stuff. So I could make the phone ring for myself pretty easily back then, which is funny today, because I don't think I could do that. I know very little. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a lot harder. It's becoming competitive.
Yeah. So I did that, and a couple things happened during that time. I was actually building a house, and I was doing most of it myself, or I guess being the general myself. And I realized as an owner builder, it was hard to get people to respond and get you quotes and estimates when they said they would and stuff. So that was kind of a learning experience of like, okay, man, if I just am responsive, I can be better than a lot of these trades in the construction industry. And then I noticed through the web stuff, the calls I was getting were a lot of owner builders, and they were a lot of women. And so that was the other thing, was just like treat women well. They're a lot of the decision makers in the garage doors, and especially owner builders and that kind of stuff. And so those were a couple of key takeaways. And then probably the other one at that time is I'm the type of guy who always has to take things apart and wonder why there isn't a better way to do it than that. And I was like looking at all these overlay doors and things from the big manufacturers, and I was like, these are just a bunch of trim boards from Home Depot and on a flush panel. I think I could build these myself, and yet they're charging me 3 times more. And so out in my field, I set up some sawhorses and started trying to build some of my own doors. And I mean, probably the best thing to say is God bless those first customers that they got a really good deal and their doors are working. But yeah, it was rough back then. So
somebody's got to pay the price for success.
Absolutely. So
it's always the first few customers.
Absolutely. But those were the real early days, and I still had a full-time job. I was doing other things, but it kind of got to the point where it's like, I need to either go bigger and do something or get out of this, because I had a young family. And so I, at that point, got first little shop. I stayed working, and there was 2 or 3 people that came on at that time that are actually the people who propelled the company forward. We all had different backgrounds, and I mean, I wish I could talk about all our people in depth, but we always kind of joke. It's kind of like that old Rudolph movie, the Island of the Misfit Toys, I think it's called. We were the Island of the Misfit Garage Door people. And we had, as far as the doors that we build, we never planned on doing that. When I jumped in, I had a little bit more experience in commercial and stuff, and I thought, I want to be one of the big commercial players. But with the people we had, we just realized, you know what, one of these had a lot of experience in the paint systems, kind of we do. He'd been playing with that with his own little company. We started kind of messing around with building doors, and he kind of has an engineering and innovation mindset that he just, the way we build doors, I think, is very different than the way everybody else does it. And he had kind of been working on these paint and different things like that. And we were outsourcing, doing some of the CNC work and things like that. And then it kind of got to the point where, once again, it's like, we either need to go bigger or quit doing this. And so he talked me into buying a CNC machine that was like $100,000. And I about had a heart attack, like thinking, how am I ever going to pay for this? And how are we going to do it? And so we kind of jumped in there, and from there it's propelled itself forward. But probably a lot of the big key as well is we have 2 locations, install companies. And so we just tested our own doors for years and years, and we're able to kind of perfect all the problems, or test it out until we got to the point where we were ready to sell to other people. And so,
yeah, great job, man. Like, love the story. It's kind of the little bit of underdog story there. Long history. Lots of people played a role, it sounds like. You had mentioned that you brought on some key people that took it to the next level. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what, who'd you bring on? Were they certain positions? And how did that propel you forward?
Yeah, I'm always a big proponent. I want to be the dumbest guy in the room. Like, I don't feel like I'm that a brainiac or whatever. I'm probably a better organizer of people, but yeah, I mean, you don't want to say fate or anything, but I mean, one of the probably second employee, he's still there, and he's the top salesperson in the company, and has just had kind of skipped through a few different garage door companies and had a vendetta that he wanted to prove himself as a salesperson. One of the others had an install and sales background, and he's the one who developed a lot of our engineering, as far as the actual engineering of track and high lift and hardware, and how to spring the doors and how to do all that. And so really put that together. The other one was kind of on the paint side of things, which he'd kind of started playing around with paint doors, and we always teased him and called him a painter, and he'd get so mad and say, "No, I'm a businessman. I'm not a painter. I'm a businessman." So we've kind of, which in kudos to him, he's from start to finish kind of taken that, and he is a businessman, an incredible businessman. But
That's
uh,
great.
he worked actually with like 3M and Sherwin-Williams to bring them in and kind of help us work on some of our paint systems and our adhesives and that, just to make sure they kind of met their specs, and kind of got us some custom glues and things like that for what we use. So no, people are a huge part. Like I mean, those are some of the early people, but the people we have now are just top notch. Like,
Nice.
I mean, we have a great family of people.
Hey guys, I found something that changed my business and I want to share it with you. We've created packages that have included some of the best products in our industry to offer our service customers. The heart of that package is Stealth Hardware Kit. Stealth Hardware is the quietest hinges on the market. I challenge you to buy at least one of these, test it for yourself. Put it on your truck and design a quiet performance package for your customers willing to pay for a better, smoother running door. Buy your Stealth Hardware Kit at Service Spring, do a search for quiet hinge, and then buy that. You can buy a double or single door, 7 or 8 foot tall, and promise you it'll change your service forever.
Somer USA and Somer Group want to thank you for an incredible year and the trust you put in them and their products. As you know, Somer places high value on relationships, education, customer service, innovation, and professionalism. And they are grateful to you for your part in the fostering and dissemination of these values. If there is any way Somer can support you in your journey, whether through their products, the values they hold to, or the knowledge Somer has gained through interaction with door dealers across the world, please reach out to the team at your convenience. They are here to serve you. Again, thank you from the entire Somer team. Check them out at somerusa.com. Tell them Ryan sent you.
So now you're manufacturing these doors and shipping them. Are you covering the entire United States as far as shipping?
We've started shipping them everywhere. There's a few places we don't have wind load ratings, those kind of stuff. So some of those locations we don't ship to. But yeah, it's a different product because it is a very expensive product, which is funny, where I started as kind of the garage door garbage man, and now we sell probably the one of the highest cost products in the industry. But I think that's a big part of what we saw is just there's a lot of people with money out there that are willing to pay for what they want. And
So glad you said that.
And we've kind of realized it's like, we don't want to be the cheap people. It's just like, we want to sell them what they want. And so, and from a garage door, a typical dealer, I think if you don't deal in that every day, selling that kind of stuff is really hard with all the color selections and styles and things like that. So
yeah,
we do it a little bit different when we sell out of state. It's usually the homeowners that contact us first a lot of times, and then we try to work with their garage door company. And we have you met Morgan, our salesperson there at IDA, who kind of covers that, but she'll work with a lot with homeowners to help them pick out what they want and work with the garage door company hand in hand to help them basically sell the doors and pick the doors out.
That's great. So you got good systems in place. You have grown up through, doors basically out of trash, creating a business, hiring great people, creating great systems, shifting your business model. And just to give you guys listening a little bit of perspective, these doors, like to kind of give you maybe a comparison, and Cory, don't kill me, but just trying to give a comparison for what I imagine a lot of people listening to this may not know about you or your company. So I'm trying to share a comparison that might be similar that these guys can wrap their heads around, or ladies, because we got ladies listen to the podcast as well. This door is, I would compare it to probably the Canyon Ridge with Clopay. Am I Am I off on that? You feel like that's a
No, that's fair. There's a lot of similarities in I mean, we always joke we're masters in all things fake. We don't build wood doors, we build fake
right?
wood doors and that. And so it is a composite door. We kind of have three different models that we do. That's kind of just a different model of the a single level of overlay, like a double, and then one where it's just the design CNC'd into the door. But yeah, no, that's a fair comparison. I think the one thing that sets us apart from, because there's a lot of people that build overlay, it's the finishes that set us apart. Like we are able to do more than a couple of manufactured stain finishes we can do.
Right.
We have tons and tons of standards, and we can custom match. If someone sends us a board with some stain on it, we can match that.
That's awesome. And someone spending the type of money that like a Canyon Ridge or a custom wood door, this would be a great solution because that customer is probably looking for something that's not out of the box or like in the box. They want something out of the box. They do want to match it with something or want it to look like a particular picture or whatever. And being able to customize it that way to whatever you need. Do you guys do custom design as well on the doors?
We do. So kind of our evolution is we used to be just fully make everything from scratch, and it was a new project every time. And then we got to the point where it's like, okay, we need to, if we're going to make a business out of this, we need to have some standard procedures and standard designs and that. And we found that 95% of the people are picking something, and that's what I would consider a standard design that we offer in a standard color. But for those who want something custom, yes, we do that.
That's cool.
I,
And so let's chat real quick about the maintenance of this door because I think that's going to be probably the first thing that comes up or the thing that leads us to you as a dealer, right? So we we're sitting in front of a customer and we're chatting and they say, I like the look of wood, but I don't like the maintenance of wood. And now nothing's maintenance free, but can you share with us a little bit about what's required for maintenance with these?
so we sell them as maintenance free, but I mean nothing lasts forever. We don't want to oversell. The way we do this, we've invested in some flatline paint machines that we've worked with some of the big manufacturers on clear coating, like a marine grade clear coating. So we send the panels through on a conveyor belt, and they're clear coated with that. That's what would potentially at some time could fail or have a problem with, which like a lot of the fiberglass doors and different things you see out there, if you see their instructions, it's like these should be clear coated at some point. So we haven't had a lot of issues with that, but if a clear coat was, usually the issues we've had is if it's sitting in at a cabin and it's has snow leaned up against it or something like that for months and months on end, some of the early ones. But that's potentially what the maintenance could be, is re-clear coating those down the line.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, not many doors in general are going to do good with snow sitting up against them for months at a time. So it's not just your door. I wouldn't feel bad about that. Even on the early versions, you see steel doors getting rotted out. You got wood doors that wouldn't last in that. So I think I wouldn't take that too hard. So, all right. What is what is the future of Vidor? Like, I feel like you guys came on the scene socially. I feel like 4 or 5 years ago, like is when I started noticing you guys.
That's probably the point in time that we started to maybe push a little outside of our own install teams and that. Our product's very different in that you almost have to see it in person, and the next best thing is pictures. And so early on, and this is going back to me, like anytime I knew of a job that we installed, I was finding a way to drive there and get pictures and take them myself. And
Which is paying off now.
well, which is funny because I mean, every time we detour stuff somewhere else, I mean, my kids, you'd hear them like, are we going to take a picture of a garage door? And my wife was always good to say, well, that's how we're playing baseball here or volleyball or whatever we were doing. So So pictures have always been big. And then once obviously I'm not a photographer, this was early on, but we've kind of shifted into like, our stuff needs to be seen through pictures and social media and that. And our content guy now, he does all our videos and stuff. He used to be a guy that was just building the doors there in the shop, and that was his passion. And so we kind of grew him into it, and he's done a phenomenal job.
That is
And
awesome.
then a friend of mine that was a few years younger than me in high school, we kind of reconnected, and he does our full-time marketing now. So we have a full-time marketing person. So yeah,
it's cool. Great job, man. And speaking of marketing, we recently joined up with you guys and we're quoting doors. I'm not sure if we sold one of your doors yet. Do you know? I don't know if we have.
I don't know. I'm kind of funny. I used to know every sell we made on the top of my head and could speak everything about it. And I probably don't even know if we have.
I don't either. So this is why we hire people, right?
Right.
So we're quoting quite a few of your things, but one thing that I thought was interesting was you guys treat us very similar to Phantom Screens. Phantom Screens is probably a similar model to yours, right? So they bring on, except for they call us a distributor, but they bring on a distributor in a particular area, and then they generate leads for the business because they've kind of figured out the marketing aspect of it to be able to create lead gen. You guys have done something similar to that with us. I guess that's probably to help generate leads and maybe spark the relationship in a good way off in the beginning. I'm not sure like your incentive or goal for that, but do you do that for a lot of different areas of the country or just specific areas of the country?
We don't do it for a lot, but we do it for a few. I think our product is really tough to sell for most people in the fact that they may only run into a job that would use our type of doors maybe once or twice a year for a small guy.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's hard maybe to market a ton for them. But we have a few dealers that sell quite a few of them, maybe in more prominent, wealthier areas than that. And once they've shown a little bit in being able to sell, a lot of times we'll throw on some just Instagram or social media stuff to kind of help them show them like, okay, getting this out there is a demand for it. People are going to call.
Yeah. Well, it hooks us, right? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if you do this in the beginning just to get us hooked, but the hardest sell is the first one.
It is.
And I think it's brilliant that once you kind of qualify a dealer and you say, "Hey, these guys specialize in high end. They're in a high end market. They have the same customer clientele as we do. Let's support them a little bit and put some effort behind it and see if we can't help them get a couple leads specifically interested in our product and then get that first sale." I think that is huge because it's always a good intention, but once you get that first sale of that door and then you get it installed and then we take pictures and photos and put it on our social media and our website, then we can start creating our own content around it. I think that's a great approach. Brilliant on your part.
Oh, thank you. I think bringing it back around to kind of what you led with your wife, that's what we've kind of discovered is most garage door dealers, we're not big enough that they're ready to jump in bed and just push this over a wood door or one of the other manufacturers, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
They don't know enough about it. So they're going to steer them in a different direction, where if it's the homeowner going to their garage door guy saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, they finally give in. And then once they've done it once or twice, or okay, yeah, this went okay, let's keep on selling it.
Yeah. And so you're doing manufacturing. Now, I'll always say the toughest thing to do for a manufacturer is distribute your product. So how do you distribute your product? Are you using your own drivers? Are you third party in it? How do you manage that?
If it's within a drivable distance, meaning probably 8 to 10 hours around us, a lot of times we'll drive it or use our own trucks.
Okay.
We've kind of, if it's further out, most of them we're shipping a dedicated truck where garage doors, there's too much risk of damage. You can't send it LTL and that. So, I mean, shipping costs are high, but it kind of goes back to those who want it. It's not it's not a deterrent, and we'll ship a dedicated truck, just even with 2 doors at times.
Right. Yeah, and we've seen that where we do have your clientele. So if a customer, like if we're in a living room and we're talking about putting doors on a couple $1 million house and the wife's like, this is what I want, shipping's not going to be the reason why they don't get it. I was gonna be honest with you. That's been my experience. So I think that I think it's the main thing. I think everybody's probably that's listening is like that is probably the best way to do it because we are getting the door most likely undamaged because it's loaded by y'all, more than likely, right?
Yes.
On a dedicated truck driven directly to us. So you don't have other dealers going in and out of it. You don't have other doors being stacked on top of it. You don't have all that. So I think that's really cool. How do you package it when you ship it?
It's with I mean, it's in cardboard with corner board and that, and then we crate every door as well.
Oh wow, nice.
So it's crated.
Okay. So that's great to know. We get our wood doors that way from Ranch House. It's crated, and I don't I don't see how any like if the crate's strong enough. I don't see how any damage would happen. So that's great when you're dealing with this and high end clientele. You know, the product, the way it looks is important, but also getting it in when you say you're going to get it in is important. And so leading with that, you got to make sure you get the product undamaged. And it sounds like they got a good process for that. So the next question is, what is the warranty like, and how to like how would we go about if we were to install one of these doors and there'd be a warranty issue? How would we go about getting that warranty taken care of?
Depending on what the warranty is, I guess per se, but a lot of times it's I mean, we try to just mimic what most manufacturers do on their warranties down the road. Immediate, I mean, obviously if there is damage or a product failure or something, I mean, we're shipping you a new door 9 times out of 10.
Okay. All right. Well,
And that's, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the fun part of being a manufacturer, right? Is there's always that. And I mean, we don't want to say we're perfect. I mean, in business, I've made every mistake 7 times, but we do. I know. I tell you one quick thing that probably like this is going back to the early on. So I was first job that I probably ever sold, and I can't even remember what they were. They were some Wayne Dalton overlay door or something, like clear back in the day. But this was like a 4-door job, 5-door job, and at the time it was big money, whatever, and it was with a contractor and stuff, and everything went wrong. Like everything went wrong. Stuff came in damaged. I think our guys damaged some stuff. It was a disaster, and I think it took 4 or 5 trips and things like that. And the contractor was kind of, we were almost done and putting it in the last time and finally got it right. And he's like, well, yeah, on the next one. And I'm like, wait, you're going to buy again from us? And he said, no. He says, yeah, absolutely. He's like, things happen. It was just, you were communicative the whole time. You answered your phone. Like I talked to you, like that was it. And that, like, so that was a good life lesson.
That's it. That's all we want. Right. Like, and yeah, we want to feel heard, listened to. We want action to be taken, and we want a solution on how do we avoid this next time. We're not like, I don't think I know any garage door guys that's looking for perfection from their manufacturers, but a solution and to feel heard it is important. And so the fact you did that, that's exactly why he's going to use you again. I think.
Yeah. Well, that was on an install job that I sold early on, but I guess I've tried to take that with that. I mean, rebuilding some of our doors or things like that can take time and shipping. Like it may be, but hopefully we're communicating and okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is the plan of attack, and we do make it right. And if we need to talk to the customer on the behalf of the dealer or whatever, we're happy to do that. So that's what we try to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, if someone wanted to be a dealer, how would they start that process?
You can go to our website and there's a little dealer application there if you want, that has a form thing. But I would say maybe easy way, just go to Instagram and just message out, and it's watched closely, and they'll reach out to you and talk you through kind of the way we do things.
Nice. So you guys monitor your social media pretty regularly.
We try to. That's where most of our leads come in. So
Nice.
at least the out of state ones.
Very cool. And y'all are in Utah and build a beautiful door. I know Destin has been quoting quite a few. I think he even mentioned that he was excited about how quick he's able to get quotes as well, which is unique and different. So that's exciting. I love being able to get our clients quick quotes. I think we gotta strike while it's hot, and if we're waiting a week from manufacturers, it gets really difficult.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for being responsive on the quotes as well. I can't wait to sell one. And guys, as soon as we do, I will share my experience on here. So you guys can hear it from us firsthand from Aaron Overhead Doors. But I have full confidence it's going to go smooth, and the doors are absolutely beautiful. If you go to their Instagram or their website, they do a great job of laying these out and showing the different options and up close. The detail of the paint and the way they do it is absolutely gorgeous. Is there anything you want to add, Cory?
No, I was just going to say from a dealer side of things, just real quick, the way we go through things is we have drawings pre-done for all of our standard sizes. So we'll get you drawings immediately. We have color samples that we can ship out. That's probably one of the hardest things we face. And that's kind of back to that in-person things, is a little 2x2 sample. A lot of times is hard to tell the whole story of the door. But yeah, we'll, if you're interested in that, we can, we ship all that stuff out and email you out a dealer packet, that kind of stuff.
Very cool. Well, good job, man. I love how you started it out, and I love how you're where you're at now in the evolution, and now you're about to be a national manufacturer. We're going to hopefully get you a bunch of dealers around the country from the podcast, and I'm sure you already got some yourself. I got to see you guys and hang out with you guys out in Las Vegas at IDA Expo, and your team is phenomenal and does a great job. And so I'm excited about getting our first one installed and hope to get that done so that we can feel comfortable and confident about the process. But I got no doubt you guys are going to crush it. So
I appreciate the kind words, and appreciate what you've done for the industry. And
thank you.
This is a great forum.
Yeah. Well, guys, check out vidor.com, VIDOR. VIDOR door.com is the website. Number one, they did a great job with the website. Number two, you get some up close and personal. Also check them out on Instagram. I think you guys are on Pinterest as well. I think my wife found you on Pinterest and Instagram. She constantly sending me pictures. Hey, I want this door. And I'd be like, oh my God, these people, how do they get into the bougie wife club so easily? Because they build beautiful doors that bougie wives like. So if you want to win those deals, this is a great way to do it.
That is true. Designers are the key.
Yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed the podcast today. And if you have any questions about my experience, hopefully by the time you listen to this, we will have sold one and possibly had it installed. So hit me up. I'll let you know my experience, but I have no doubt it's going to go smooth, going to go great. And if it doesn't, I got a guy, Cory, who I can call, and I'm sure he's going to take care of it. So hope you guys do well. Have a blessed week. Take care.